Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. In this episode, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be taking our most successful paint protection film install video that we've ever posted on our channel, and we're going to be recreating it today. So I'm going to pull up my phone. Our most successful video that we have ever done was beginning of January 2021. It was called DIY PPF. Do it yourself, the basics to a successful full hood clear bra PPF installation. Yes, that's a long title. That video is like I said, it's our best video we've ever had on our channel. 160,000 views and counting. Over 300 comments. We'll input some of the comments in the video right here. Lots of positive feedback and over 2,600 likes on the video. So, after seeing all this, I thought, you know what? It's 2024. It's beginning of April. And let's recreate this video. We got this Rivian behind us. And in this video, we're going to do a bulk PPF install on the hood. And I'm going to talk you through the things that I have learned to do differently in my PPF installs as opposed to in 2021. And I hope you guys find some value in this video. So let's get into it. Also, I'd like to take a second before we get into this video to thank Auto Show Sales and Finance in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada for letting us use this Rivian R1S for this video. Now let's get back to it. Okay, so I got the PPF laid onto the hood of the vehicle. I got a bunch of slip solution underneath it. In fact, I ran my True Spray keg system completely dry, getting the slip solution onto the hood of this vehicle. So we're gonna hope that we got enough slip solution to last the entire install. I think we'll be just fine. So where I'm gonna start with this install is like I have on every other bulk hood I've done. I always take and tack down the back of the fenders and then work to the front on our 4-corner tack. Now, the big thing with this Rivian is we have the hood closed. And if we have the hood propped open like I do on most bulk hood installs, the back of the hood is actually below the fender, and it would actually be a real nightmare to try and bulk this hood. So we have the hood closed for this one. So right now all I'm gonna do is just spray my hot water tack solution to the back of the fender here. Now, on the video in 2021, I wasn't using hot water for tack solution. I was using isopropyl alcohol mixed with my water, and that was my tack solution. So right now, all I use is hot water. Reason being, with hot water, you can achieve the exact same result without having to mix any alcohol in it. And the alcohol is actually bad for the adhesive of the film. Now, small amounts, you can get away with it and you're not gonna do any damage to it, but let's say you accidentally mix your tack solution too strong, you can end up burning the adhesive. So I've done that a couple times, and when I found out that just plain hot water works, I made the switch immediately. The downside of hot water tack solution is that it cools off over time. So I only fill up maybe like the bottom 2/3 or the bottom 1/3 of the bottle, and as soon as it starts to cool off, I just refill it. So now that I've got that sidetrack out of the way, 4-corner tack. So as you can see, we have a very flat hood right across the back. So all I'm gonna do, even though it's laying flat right now with almost no tension on it, I am gonna create a little bit of tension. So right about there. That's good. Now we're gonna come across to the front here. So one thing I like to do when I'm back rolling the film onto place, or when I'm spraying my slip solution under the film to start my install, I used to soak every inch of the adhesive, and I found that that was actually hurting me over time. So as you can see underneath here, the adhesive is completely dry, and so is the bumper on this Rivian. So this is gonna make my 4-corner tack so much easier. Now you can see the wrinkles, or fingers as I like to call them, across the front of the bumper. These, we need to get rid of them. So I'm pulling diagonally across from the back corner of the driver's side of the hood. So I'm pulling down And I'm not pulling aggressively. I'm pulling just enough that I can get these fingers down right across the hood here. And then I'm just gonna tack that down. That's perfectly fine. Now we're gonna come over to the driver's side, and we wanna match that tension. So you can see across the hood, you can see these ridges in the film over here. It's starting to pull itself together. Well, we need to match that tension. So I'm just gonna lift this up, and I'm gonna pull diagonally from the back corner on the passenger side of the hood. I'm gonna pull it forward just enough that those fingers are gonna lay down. Stick that into place. There we go, that's good. Now, I'm gonna take my slip solution. We're gonna spray the top of the film down. This is gonna help the squeegee glide nicely. The more the merrier. The easier this installation is gonna be. Now, a big thing that I've learned since 2021, when that last video went live, was learning to squeegee with your body lines. Now, in that previous video, and I'm gonna insert a clip right over here, you will have seen with myself on that GMC Sierra, I was pulling solution up and over these ridges and through these valleys when I had all that tension on it. That is a big red flag. I shouldn't say red flag, but it's just gonna create a lot of issues for yourself because there's so much tension on the film and you're pulling that solution through there. You're gonna run the risk of creating all kinds of moisture bubbles left behind on the ridges of the panel. So, big thing that I like to do is I like to get rid of all of my air. So I'm lifting the hood up a little bit here because I'm gonna take and pull this air down right through here. So I'm gonna take the palm of my hand and you're gonna have to do this a couple times. You want to try and get that film to lay down perfectly flat. Now, obviously I got this down, but I created a little bit more air over here. We're just gonna have to we're gonna have to go back and forth on this. There we go. That's good. Now, as far as my starting points, starting in the middle, that's not a problem. I still start in the middle today, but how I'm gonna do it on this Rivian is I'm gonna do it by starting in the middle, but I'm gonna change up where my solution exits underneath the film. So instead of pulling solution towards me up over this ridge, running the risk of having moisture bubbles staying behind, I'm gonna take my squeegee, I'm gonna come right out the back here. I'm gonna do a couple passes to make sure that there's no solution staying behind. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my squeegee and I'm gonna start right here on this ridge. And because of the flexibility in these squeegees, I can get this squeegee to take the shape of this ridge very nicely. I'm gonna come around, I'm gonna follow this ridge all the way down and out the front. So that's good. You can see some moisture bubbles here. I can just come in like that and push that solution downward. Now, before I take care of this, I'm gonna take care of this back section over here. You don't wanna have to try and push the solution. Like, you wanna get rid of the solution the easiest way possible. That's not gonna cause any solution to be left behind or minimal solution to be left behind. So in this situation, I'm just pulling everything out the back. But now that I got that down, I'm gonna take and deal with the solution in the middle over here. So, actually, so you guys can see this better, I'll just do it from this side. But I'm gonna take my squeegee now, and I'm just gonna continue to work that valley right over here. and pull that solution forward. Now I can overlap my squeegee strokes, start pushing that solution towards the front. So you'll notice that I'm not going the entire length of the hood, I'm doing short sections. And you can see, I can just lift this up. Now all this solution just disappears. And this is just laying there freely. I can come back later on and take care of the rest of that. Now you're probably wondering, what do we do with that ridge over there? And I'm gonna go over that right now. You can see we got some paint protection film that's starting to build up here. I'm just gonna spray some Tack solution on the fender. I'm just gonna lift this up. I'm just gonna pull that tight. I'm gonna lock that down. Actually, pulled it a little bit too tight. So I'm just gonna let that relax where it needs to. Now the thing with this Rivian, you can see the alignment is not very good, and that the fender actually sticks out past further than the hood, the corner of the hood. So that's unfortunate, and we're gonna have to work with that. But what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna take and I'm gonna pull the PPF. I'm gonna pull it over here. Tack that down there. These fingers, we're just gonna have to worry about them later. There we go, that's good. Now what we can do is, because we have this ridge over here, I don't wanna be pulling our solution over. So we have a short little area over here where I can bring our moisture down and then bring it out over here, because as you can see, the hood is sitting lower than the fender. Or I can come over here and I can lift this corner up and push it out, which I think in this situation, I'm actually gonna do that. This is the first time I've ever done a Rivian. Where I'm from in Manitoba, Canada, we don't have a ton of these. So it's a treat to be able to work on this. As you can see, I'm pulling with the ridge. I'm not squeegeeing over it, I'm pulling with it. The little bit of solution that is left behind on these ridges, it has to go out, it has to be squeegeed down somehow. So it's a whole lot easier to squeegee with it than it is to squeegee over it. If you take one thing from this video, let that be it. So now I'm just gonna start pushing this moisture out over here. You can see it's leaving the hood. This area over here, I'm gonna pull it forward. Now, what I'm gonna do is pull this air out from underneath the film here. And now we're gonna squeegee with that ridge, but we're gonna go up towards the back. And there we go. You can see, like I said, the hood is sitting a little bit lower than the fender, but not nearly as low as if we would have had it propped open. So this is unfortunate, but this is just how it's gonna be for now. Now, if we come down over here to the front, what I'm gonna do is prop this up. I'm gonna pull this tight, get that to lay down so there's no fingers. So right now there's no fingers over here. That's what we want. Yes, the PPF is not sitting on the hood here. In fact, I can press it down, but at the end of the day, we don't have any fingers to deal with. So when it comes time to trim in a few minutes, the PPF should have set itself into place enough that I can run my blade in there very carefully and then get my Tack solution underneath there and squeegee it down without any fingers. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna get a microfiber towel. I'm gonna dry down the passenger side of the hood, and then we're gonna look for any contamination, because should we find any contamination under the passenger side of the film, because the film has not set itself into place, we can lift the film up, pull the contamination out, and not have to worry about having to redo the piece of film. So we are good, it seems. Yeah, we are good. Okay, that's good. Now we can come over here to the passenger side. Now, passenger side has been down for a little bit, and I don't want to lift the film up. So I am going to lift it up a little bit here, just to kind of get an idea of how down it is, or how stuck it is. And I'm actually going to take my spray bottle, because my tank is empty, and I'm just going to spray some more slip solution behind the film. I'm going to get some more on top of the film as well too. And we're basically going to we're going to basically do the exact same thing we did on the passenger side. Now, what I'm going to do before I start squeegeeing is I'm just going around with my hand and I'm massaging the film to make sure that the film is still gliding nicely in place and that there's no sticking points. That's crucial, because should I go in there with my squeegee and there's some areas that are stuck, it's going to create all kinds of distortion underneath the PPF, and that we don't want. So we're going to do the exact same thing we did on the passenger side. We're going to take our squeegee. We're going to make sure that the squeegee is taking the shape of this ridge in the back corner. We're going to come around and down out the front, just like that. Then we can take and squeegee this out the back, up top here. That's good. Now we can take our squeegee and we're gonna run right along this ridge down a couple times for some insurance passes. Now we're gonna start pulling everything forward. Short squeegee strokes to make sure that no moisture is staying behind. There we go. Now we can lift the PPF up. Actually, it was stuck there. You could hear that when I lifted it up. Okay, there we go. That's good. Now we're going to start pulling our solution down over here. So we're running with that ridge. We're not moving any solution, squeegeeing any solution over that ridge. And we're going to push this out the front. We're going to get our hand under the film here. We're going to lift this up so this can all exit. Now this front of the hood we can worry about later. Now we can continue to work the front. Big massive scratch deep through the paint over here. This Rivian is used, so we do have to deal with that. Now, you can see we have a little bit of film pulling itself together over here. So I'm just gonna get my Tack solution and do the same thing I did on the passenger side and gonna lift our solution up, and I'm just gonna tack it down to the fender. That way the film lays nice and flat. Now, we can take and pull everything down outside. You'll see that I'm starting back behind the ridge. That's fine because it's already been squeegeed down, so I can go over it, that's fine. I'm not trying to pull solution over that ridge. Now we have some minor fingers over here, so all I'm gonna do now is pop this film up off the fender. It's tacked down pretty good. Now I'm very carefully peeling it back here because I don't want it to shoot back, so I still have tension on it. Now what I'm gonna do, get my tack solution behind the film, and I can take and squeegee that all down. There we go, that's good. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our microfiber towel, and we're gonna take and dry off the driver's side of the hood. And we're gonna look for any contamination that may have gotten left underneath the PPF. One minor little rock chip over there. Everything else looks fine. I don't see anything other than that gnarly scratch that was there. Okay, now what we can do is we can take our squeegee. I'm actually gonna grab my chair for this, and we're gonna get the front down. A big thing that I've learned in my time doing paint protection film from when I started was that you wanna be as comfortable as possible when doing your install. Now, what does that mean in this situation? I wanna be working right in front of where I'm supposed to be working. I don't wanna be standing up here and then bending over and getting yourself into a super uncomfortable position. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut off everything, leave maybe about an inch left behind. Make sure that you're pulling it away from the vehicle because you don't wanna run the risk of adding any more damage to the paint. Very carefully coming around this headlight here. And from here, I can pull down. I don't wanna release this tension over here. I wanna keep that on because I wanna make sure that everything's staying down nicely across the front or across the corners, I should say. So we're gonna move over. Now, I'm gonna lift the film up, and I'm flushing out the slip solution with my tack solution. We'll deal with the PPF in front of the headlights in a little bit. Right now we just want to deal with this middle section. So I'm starting up here at this ridge, and I want to get the squeegee to take the shape of that ridge so I'm not letting any moisture get left behind. Ridges are traps for moisture, and you want to take and make sure that you're not leaving any of that behind. You'll see that I'm pushing my squeegee at an angle. If there is any minor fingers, squeegeeing them down at an angle will help saw them down and keep them from popping back up. Now we can take and get the PPF down right over here, because as you can see, it's not touching there. So I'm gonna take my blade, I'm gonna pop the knife out just a little bit, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm in that gap between the headlight and the hood. And I'm just gonna puncture the film and very carefully cut around it and make sure we're not leaving anything behind. So I'll pull that down as well too. You see how that nicely lays flat there? That's what you want when you have your tension across the front of the hood. Now, we're gonna do the same thing over here on the driver's side, right by this nice, beautiful scratch. No, we don't have touch-up paint for it, in case anybody's wondering. Okay, I got a spot there that I can pull back from. Making sure we're not touching the headlight and adding any more damage to the vehicle. Now, we're gonna take and pop this film up. We're gonna get our Tack solution behind it, and we're gonna get that squeegee down. There we go. Now, you probably wanna see how we're gonna deal with the passenger side over here, where the PPF is not even touching the hood. So, same thing, we're gonna take our blade, push it out just a little bit, and we are very, very carefully gonna take and puncture the film. Make sure that we are staying between the hood and the fender, but leaving us enough that we can wrap that edge. Now, we need to work quick here because we need to get our Tack solution behind the film. Now, what we need to do is get these fingers down at an angle. Okay, now I'm just gonna spray our hot water behind the film. I'm gonna get that squeegee down. Now we're gonna do the same thing over here. You got these minor fingers over here. So these ones you have to take care of at an angle. Just feather them down like that. Go. We got just barely enough to wrap our edge there. Now we're gonna do the same thing in the back over here by this corner. What I'm gonna do is, actually instead of cutting it, I'm gonna pop the film up over here. Actually, no, I'm gonna leave this for a bit and we're just gonna cut it. Pop the knife out just a little bit. Start close to the back. Making sure that we are not cutting into either the hood or the fender. Actually, as you can see, as I cut that, the film laid itself down nicely. So I'm just gonna squeegee that down, let that dry out on its own. So the very last thing that I need to do is trim out the Rivian badge over here. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and snap off my blade and make sure that I got a perfectly sharp blade for this. Now, what I'm gonna do is none of this is actually touching the paint except for the part that's in the very middle there. So I'm just gonna take and just glide my blade across the film very, very lightly. We'll come around over here and we'll join up with where we started. Now, use my fingernail to try and get the film to pull apart, just like so. Very carefully, I'm just gonna pop that out. Now, I'm gonna get my Tack solution and flush out the slip solution that's underneath it. And I'm not even gonna use a squeegee for this, I'm just gonna use my thumb. I'm just gonna take my thumb, press that down in that corner. Now I'm just gonna work my way around, making sure that everything is down. And then the very last thing I can do is take my squeegee with a lot of pressure run right around that corner. Okay, there we go. That is good. So that is basically gonna do it for this video. We still have to wrap the edges. We're not gonna show that in this video. I've shown that in many, many videos on our channel, but I wanted to take, you can point at me now. I wanted to take and recreate that DIY basics to PPF install video. It's been a few years since we made that one, like I mentioned in the intro, and I've obviously learned a lot about paint protection film, and I'm continuing to learn. I still don't think I know everything. I know a lot, but I definitely don't know everything, and there's always smarter people out there that I can learn from. So if you guys found value in this video, let me know in the comments section below. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned to more paint protection film content that we got coming your way.